This is our third attempt at replacing this tail light. And I bought them in a set, and one of the tail lights came in and was broken. But it has the right parts, the right tabs. They're not metal, they're plastic. So this one should work. Now to take this off, you've got to lift up the tray, because this piece goes underneath it. That lip goes underneath the tray, so then you pull that up. You've got to loosen this bolt. Got to loosen this bolt in here, and you got to pull this out and away. You've got to remove this in order to get this out from under it. You want to disconnect your light. This little clip right there. So you got to push this clip to release it from the light fixture. So we've got that off. Gotta get this out of the way. It's got a nut down in the bottom of it. But anyway, this has got to come off. Here's how you would access the tail lights to change them. But we've got to take the whole piece out. So we've got to remove the 10mm nuts that are on the studs on the back of the light. So you pull this out, and you've got to nurse it around this tray. And again, this tray has a little nut in the bottom of it that you got to take out. This one happens to be loose already. There's the nut right there. Got to remove that, because this tray goes in these groove slots right there. Pull this out of the way, and that's why you got to have this piece off. And again, it goes under the tray. But just pull this out far enough to get back there. There's your 10mm nuts. You got to take off. You need a deep wall socket. So I loosen this already. You got to reuse these nuts because they did not send you new ones. To unplug this slides out of here, and to unplug it, you push this down and then pull the wires apart like that. Now that's the base of one of the clips on the outside. Now you can buy this at Harbor Freight, pretty inexpensive. We're going to use the little one. And this is why these need to be plastic, because they go into these little tiny grommets right here, and if it doesn't click in, then the light's not going to be secured on this side. Now that clicked in nicely. It's nice and tight around here, and I could hear it click in. And also this doesn't hit when the hatch shuts. When the hatch shuts, this is out of the way of the hatch. If this wasn't right, this whole thing would be out, and this thing would be over about 1/2 inch and hits the hatch when it comes down. Now we just tighten up the bolts on the inside, the nuts anyway, and plug it back in. Also, on the ones with the metal tabs, this padding right here is too thick and it will not let it seal because the padding's too thick for 2005 Toyota Prius. Now this is just plastic, so don't break it off. Plug in your wire routing. Start reassembling everything. All right, so you got to plug this wire in. And you got to line up all these clips. Make sure your seatbelt goes through here. And you may have to take off this unless you just feed it back in there. Get lazy. Yeah, it settled in there right. Now we're going to put this one back in. Tray goes in next. And remember, it's got to go under this tray down here. And there is a zip. Comes up through here. So there's your bolt, and there's a little plastic nut that goes over it. Then the lower tray sits on top of that. And the lower tray sits on top of this. You've got that tab. It's going to go in there. That tab's going to go in there. And then two more on this side. So lift up your tray a little bit and get this under it. You should hear all those clicks. And then that should sit in there like that. And you've got a cover. Goes over here. This side's easier to do. This one, you've got to take that tray out all the way because it sits under the battery cover. So now I'm just looking for the tail light cover, the bulb replacement cover. So you're going to put that bolt in. It's a real long one. And then that one. This is your running light. This one is your backup light, and the top one is your turn signal. But as I remember, I did a video on putting LEDs in. Oh, it was the running lights. So it was this one. Look at that. That's an LED. Yeah, so we're going to put that one in. The other ones are just normal bulbs. So the bottom one here, that's just a regular running light. But with the LED running light that I'm going to put in, it's much brighter. Alright, so I got a spare. The reason you have to do this though is because the top is a halogen setup. And it has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different smaller bulbs in there. And when that goes out, the light doesn't work and you can't just replace one bulb. You got to replace the whole assembly. Then of course, reinstall your tie downs, and these are keyed. So the key on this one goes up. And the key on this one goes to the right. And you're done. Now the cops shouldn't pull you over anymore because your taillights don't work. Excuse me, your taillights are going to work, but your brake light won't work. That's why they pulled me over, because the brake light wasn't working. Or it was dimmer, and what really happened was I was flashing somebody lights because I was telling them there's a police officer hiding, and the police officer didn't like that, so he just found a reason to pull me over. Gave me a warning. So the moral of the story is, if you get one from Depot Auto Lamp, you don't know what they're selling though, because when I looked online at, I guess it was carparts.com, they had a picture of the plastic tab, and these are the two I got. I got one from Depot Auto Lamp, and I've ordered from 2 other companies, one A Auto, and they both sent me Eagle Eyes. The Eagle Eyes don't work because they don't have the plastic tabs. They've got these metal tabs. Those metal tabs do not click in to the fender. And this is too thick also, so it won't push in. The other one's much thinner.